Welcome to SelfCrafted Life, the space where you stop doubting, start trusting, and finally live as the real you. Micro habits for macro growth, tiny shifts, big impact. Welcome to another episode of SelfCrafted Life, where we believe that the most meaningful growth doesn't come from grand gestures, but from grounded, consistent steps. Let me ask you something. Have you ever set a big goal, felt inspired in the moment, then watched it fade into the background just a week later? You're not alone. We often chase massive changes thinking they'll bring instant results. But the truth is, transformation doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. That's what today's episode is about. We're diving into the world of those tiny, seemingly insignificant actions that, when repeated daily, become the very foundation of your personal evolution. Whether it's one deep breath in the morning, a glass of water before coffee, or a 2-sentence journal entry before bed, these small shifts can unlock massive growth over time. We'll explore why small wins matter more than you think, how to rewire your brain for behavior change, and how to stay consistent even when motivation fades. You'll get real tools, real science, and real encouragement to start building the life you want, not someday, but today. So if you're tired of setting goals that don't stick, if you felt like you're not disciplined enough, or just not that type of person, stay with me. Because what you're about to discover is that you already have what it takes. You don't need to do more, you just need to start smaller. Let's get into it. 1. Introduction: Why small wins matter. 300+ words. Have you ever stood at the foot of a massive mountain, overwhelmed by the sheer height, and wondering how you'd ever reach the top? Personal growth often feels the same. We dream big, set lofty goals, and expect immediate, sweeping transformation. But the truth, the climb doesn't happen in one leap, happens step by step, often with tiny movements that feel insignificant in the moment, but compound massively over time. This is the philosophy behind microhabits, small, daily choices that, when consistently practiced, generate profound and lasting impact. In our age of instant gratification and 30-day makeovers, microhabits can seem unremarkable or even disappointing. But this mindset overlooks the true magic: sustainability. Microhabits work because they bypass the brain's resistance to big change. They sneak under the radar of fear and procrastination, planting seeds that eventually grow into forests of transformation. This podcast isn't about radical change. It's about understanding why tiny shifts matter, how to implement them effectively, and why they're your most reliable tool for long-term success. We'll explore real-life applications, break down the science of habit formation, and give you a blueprint to design your own growth engines, starting from wherever you are. Today, if you've struggled with motivation, consistency, or the feeling that change is just too far away, you're not alone. But today, we challenge that belief, because the truth is, you don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to start small and keep going. Let's dive into the power of microhabits and how these tiny decisions can spark your 2. The myth of overnight success. In our fast-paced, highlight reel culture, we're constantly bombarded with stories of sudden fame and instant breakthroughs. A YouTube creator goes viral. A startup secures $1 million investment overnight. A friend seems to lose 20 pounds in just 2 weeks. These overnight success stories are compelling, but they're rarely the full truth. Behind every seemingly instant result lies months, if not years, of quiet, consistent effort. The myth of overnight success creates unrealistic expectations and sabotages real progress. When we believe that change must be dramatic or immediate, we grow impatient. We give up too early, assuming we've failed because we haven't achieved rapid results. But transformation doesn't usually come in the form of a single leap. It comes from small, repeated actions, compounded over time. This is where microhabits reclaim their power. Instead of striving for a big, impressive win, microhabits encourage us to find victory in the daily showing up. Brushing your teeth while practicing mindfulness. Stretching for 2 minutes while your coffee brews. Saying one kind word to a colleague. These acts are so small, they almost seem too insignificant to matter, but they do. They train your brain, build identity, and fuel progress that's invisible at first, but unstoppable over time. True success is rarely loud at the beginning. It's the quiet consistency that wins. Microhabits help you build momentum while staying under the radar of overwhelm. They help you fall in love with the process, not just the results. And eventually, they deliver results that feel like magic, but were actually built with patience and purpose. So next time you feel like you're falling behind because you haven't made it overnight, remember this. Small shifts beat sudden shocks every single time. 3. Unpacking the microhabit blueprint. When most people hear habit, they think of routines like going to the gym or waking up early. But microhabits are a different breed. They are the tiniest possible version of a behavior so small that skipping them feels harder than doing them. A microhabit isn't going to the gym for an hour. It's putting on your workout shoes. It's not meditating for 20 minutes. It's taking one deep breath when you wake up. What makes microhabits powerful is their simplicity and consistency. They eliminate resistance by being almost laughably easy. That's the genius. You build the muscle of follow-through, one micro step at a time. Let's break it down. Tiny means doable. Your brain doesn't feel threatened by the change. Immediate means satisfying. You get a small sense of accomplishment right away. Consistent means sustainable. You can repeat the behavior daily without burnout. A good mind is anchored to an existing routine. For example, after brushing your teeth, you say one thing you're grateful for. Before you check your phone, you drink a glass of water. When you sit down to work, you take 1 minute to set an intention. These small shifts are the foundation of the microhabit blueprint. Each tiny win reinforces your belief that change is possible. Over time, they stack into a reliable routine, a new identity, and a dramatically transformed life. Remember, motivation comes and goes, but systems stay. Microhabits are the system. They make your environment work for you, not against you. And that is how real transformation begins. 4. The power of tiny wins. Real-world transformations. You don't need a massive breakthrough to change your life. You need proof that change is possible. That's where tiny wins come in. They might seem minor in the moment, but they compound in powerful ways. Each time you follow through on a microhabit, you earn a psychological win that boosts your confidence and rewires your identity. Let's say you want to become a writer. You don't need to write a chapter a day. Start by writing 1 sentence. When that's too much, just open your document. That act alone reinforces the idea. I am a writer. Identity is the foundation of consistency. Real-world transformations don't come from perfect streaks. They come from returning to the habit again and again, even after slipping up. Someone who meditates for 1 minute every morning may experience more peace and focus over time than someone who tries for 20 minutes once a month. What makes tiny wins magical is their ability to create momentum. 1 glass of water leads to more hydration. 1 act of kindness lifts your mood. 1 mindful breath calms your nervous system. These seemingly trivial actions lead to exponential results because they are repeated, not because they are dramatic. Don't underestimate the power of starting. Don't discount the magic of continuing. Every big success story you admire started with 1 small win, and your journey is no different. 5. Designing your personalized growth engine. If you want real, lasting transformation, you can't rely on random inspiration. You need a system, a growth engine that turns small actions into big results. The great news is, you don't have to copy anyone else's. You can design one that fits your life, your energy, and your values. Start with awareness. Where do you feel stuck? What area of life do you want to grow? In health, focus, creativity, relationships. Choose one. Now, shrink the first action down to its tiniest version. If you want to start journaling, don't aim for a page a day. Just write one sentence. That's enough to start the engine. Next, anchor the habit to something that already happens in your day. This is called habit stacking. For example, after I make coffee, I write one sentence. This ties the new behavior to an existing routine, making it easier to remember and repeat. Then, celebrate your micro success. Yes, celebrate even if it's just a silent yes or a fist bump. Celebration reinforces the reward system in your brain, making you more likely to return to the habit. Finally, track your success visually. Use a journal, a habit app, or a sticky note. Seeing your progress builds momentum and confidence. Your personalized growth engine isn't about perfection. It's about making change so easy that it becomes inevitable. The more you design your environment to support your identity, the less effort it takes to maintain progress. Start small, stay consistent, and let your habits carry you forward. 6. The neuroscience behind habit formation. Our brains are built for efficiency. Every habit you form is your brain's way of saving energy by automating repeated behavior. The problem is, this automation applies to both helpful and harmful habits. Understanding how habits are wired in the brain gives you the power to build better ones with intention. Here's the science. Habits follow a loop. Cue gives routine, gives reward. The cue triggers the behavior. The behavior is the routine. The reward is what makes your brain want to repeat it. Over time, your brain starts to anticipate the reward as soon as it sees the cue. Take the example of checking your phone. The cue might be boredom. The routine is scrolling. The reward is stimulation or escape. Without understanding this loop, we repeat habits unconsciously. To build better habits, we hijack the loop. Pick a cue you encounter daily, like brushing your teeth or brewing coffee. Then insert a new micro-behavior as the routine, like saying an affirmation or stretching. Finally, pair it with a reward, even something small, like a smile or a positive thought. This rewires your brain to crave the new behavior. The good news is, our brains are plastic. They adapt. With repetition and reward, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's why even tiny habits can lead to permanent change over time. When you understand the neuroscience, you stop relying on willpower and start using design. That's the key to building habits that last. 7. Overcoming resistance and staying consistent. Even the smallest habits can encounter massive resistance. You know what you want to do. You've even made it tiny and doable. But still you forget, you procrastinate, or you lose steam after a few days. Why? Because resistance isn't always logical. It's emotional. It's rooted in self-doubt, past failures, fear of change, or simply fatigue. But here's the thing, consistency beats intensity, and the way to consistency is through compassion, not pressure. One of the most powerful strategies is reducing friction. If your micro habit is journaling one sentence a day, leave your notebook on your pillow so you can't miss it. If it's a morning stretch, place your mat next to your bed. The less effort it takes to start, the more likely you'll do it. 7. On hard days. Next, use don't break the chain tracking. It's simple. Mark an X on a calendar every day you complete your micro habit. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is continuity. If you miss a day, no guilt. Just don't miss 2 in a row. This rule helps prevent slip-ups from turning into spirals. Another tip: have an accountability anchor. This could be a habit buddy, a coach, or even a journal where you reflect on your wins. Sharing progress even silently makes you more likely to stay the course. Above all, treat yourself with grace. Progress is not linear. Consistency isn't about always being perfect. It's about returning to the habit faster and easier each time you drift away. The more often you come back, the more deeply the habit roots into your identity. And when it becomes part of who you are, not just what you do, you'll keep going, even when motivation fades. 8. Micro-habits for mind, body, and relationships. Micro-habits aren't limited to productivity or self-discipline. They can transform your whole life. Let's explore how these tiny shifts can impact 3 powerful domains: your mind, your body, and your relationships. For your mind, try starting with mental hygiene habits. Write one thing you're grateful for every morning. Spend 30 seconds naming your feelings out loud. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths before opening your laptop. These micro practices reduce stress, increase awareness, and rewire your brain for clarity and calm. For your body, consider drinking a full glass of water before your morning coffee, doing 10 jumping jacks after brushing your teeth, standing and stretching for 1 minute every hour at your desk. You don't need an hour-long workout. You need movement, momentum, actions that keep your body engaged and energized. For your relationships, try these micro habits. Send 1 encouraging message to a friend daily. Pause before replying in a heated conversation and ask yourself, what's the kindest response? End each day by telling your partner or child one thing you appreciated about them. These gestures are small, but they build deep trust, warmth, and emotional connection over time. Micro-habits in these 3 areas aren't just nice ideas. They're deeply effective tools for shifting your identity and experience of life. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just choose 1 micro-habit for each domain and watch the ripple effect unfold. 9. Tracking progress and staying motivated. Progress tracking might seem tedious, but it's one of the most underrated tools in personal development. When you track your micro-habits, you create visible proof that you're showing up. That proof builds motivation, identity, and long-term consistency. The key is to keep it simple. You don't need fancy spreadsheets, a habit tracker app, a sticky note calendar, or a dot on your wall is enough. Each mark is a visual affirmation. I did it, and that matters more than you think. Psychologists call this visual momentum. It's the reason people love streaks on apps. We're wired to maintain patterns once they're visible. This is why tools like the Seinfeld method, don't break the chain, are so effective. But tracking isn't just about compliance, it's also about reflection. Take a few seconds weekly to ask, what's working? What felt easy? Where did I slip and why? This insight turns your micro-habit journey into a living system, not a rigid checklist. You'll start to spot patterns, tweak routines, and adapt your environment to support success. You can also add celebration to tracking. Give yourself a mini reward after 5 days straight. Share your streak with a friend, or just smile and say, I showed up. The brain craves reward, it helps habits stick. And if you break the chain, start again. Progress isn't ruined by 1 off day. It's ruined by the belief that 1 day ruins everything. Tracking keeps you honest, it keeps you encouraged, and most of all, it keeps you going. 10. Your journey to macro growth starts now. If you've made it this far, one thing is clear: you're ready for change. But not the overwhelming, perfection-driven change that burns out after 2 weeks. You're ready for real, sustainable growth, kind that sticks, because it's built 1 micro step at a time. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to start where you are, with what you have, and take the smallest possible step forward. Then repeat. Your journey doesn't require motivation, it requires design. Your transformation doesn't require willpower, it requires a system. And your success doesn't depend on intensity, it depends on consistency. Micro-habits work because they meet you where you are. They honor your bandwidth, your real life, your humanity, and they grow with you. As your confidence builds, so will your habits. What once felt impossible will become automatic. So ask yourself, what's 1 area of life I want to shift? What's the tiniest action I can take daily to support that shift? How can I make it so easy? I can't fail. Now go do it. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Today. Right now. The smallest step matters more than the perfect plan. This is your journey of macro growth, powered by You don't need to force change, you just need to flow with it, one small habit at a time. And the beautiful thing, you're already on your way. Final word asterisk, you've just taken a powerful step, not a giant leap, but a micro shift. And that's exactly the point. As we close out today's episode, I want to leave you with this reminder. Change doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. The most extraordinary transformations you admire in others, they weren't built overnight. They were shaped in quiet moments, with small choices, done consistently. So here's your invitation. Pick one micro habit, just one. Something so small, it feels almost silly. Make your bed, drink a glass of water, write one sentence, and repeat it every day. Don't worry about how fast you grow. Focus on showing up. Because every time you show up, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. You start to believe in your ability to follow through. You reshape your identity, not with pressure, but with presence. Your journey to macro growth isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, a little at a time. And it's okay if you stumble. What matters most is your willingness to return again and again and again. Thank you for spending this time with me on Self-Crafted Life. If today's message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a little encouragement to begin. Because the truth is, we're all capable of change. We just need a gentler way in. Until next time, keep showing up, one small habit at a time. Remember, the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real. Keep showing up as you.